then I'll start talking. Yeah, we're good? Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, so it's live. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming for this Q&A event with Autolevi and also Funderbeam. My name is Bjorn Lapako. I'm the head of community here at Funderbeam, and I'm just going to kind of lay some of the groundwork, there we go, for the event tonight. So basically, what we're going to do here is a 5-minute presentation from each of the companies, and then a short 10-minute Q&A. So we'll do presentation, Q&A, presentation, Q&A. During the Q&As, you online can ask questions, you here can ask questions. There are some things that we can't cover. So for example, valuation. If you have a question about valuation, we can't answer that in a public forum. What we do instead is ask you to go to funderbeam.com, go to the campaign page of the company that you're interested in, and ask in the discussion section your question about valuation or the terms of the deal, these sorts of questions. Anything else, like the problem they're solving, the solution that they have, the team, that's all fair game, so please ask those questions. Same with you online, we'll be paying attention. If you have questions in the right-hand column, just ask them. David, he'll be there online to catalog those questions, and then he'll feed them to me, and we'll get those answered for you. Also, for you here and for you watching, please always inform yourself fully before making any investment decisions. We have a risk disclosure statement on funderbeam.com for you to read. We encourage you to read that. For everybody online, if you look in the discussion section, it's linked down below. Please read that before doing anything, and always, of course, fully inform yourself on both these companies. This is just a little sample to interest you. If you have any more thoughts, questions, those things, it's available for you in the Q&A, but also for you online on funderbeam.com. And now that I've exasperated myself, without further ado, let me introduce you to founder, CEO of Autolevi, Tauri. Tauri, please. Oh, he's going to stream online as well. So, thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Tauri. I'm a founder of Autolevi. And what Autolevi is it's basically Airbnb for cars to enable car owners to rent out their personal car, and to enable renters to have a very wide choice of different cars for different needs. Where the idea came from was from my personal need, where my car was just idling, and I figured it's reasonable to rent this out. And in 2013, I started this company with 2 friends, Simo Sulev and Robert Sarg. Simo as an IT guy, and Robert as a lawyer who built all these contracts to balance renters and car owners' risks during the rental. And the problem, what we are solving is to just enable or to monetize the cars more reasonable, more efficient way, because average car is like idling 90% of the time, and that and from other hand, the one like shared car takes away from the streets 5 to 15 cars. So it's reasonable to build this kind of solution to make easy for car owners to share their cars. What we have achieved so far during the last 5 years, we have established quite good and stably growing business in Estonia. Like at the moment, 90% of our transactions are happening in Estonia, but we are also opened markets for Latvia and Finland. And currently we are raising funds from Funderbeam to grow the business in Finland. and yeah, that's the reason. And the team around the company, it's me as a founder and Simon as a co-founder who is taking care of IT side. There is also background checkers, customer support, and marketing communication person. I think you have seen she's achievements in different channels already. And yeah, do you have any questions now?
I have a secondary microphone, so if anybody has questions for Tauri, also they have the lead investor here as well, which you'll see. He can answer any questions from the audience if you have any.
Can wait and show yourself.
So, does anyone have any? Here we go.
Just a quick question. Car owners who are sharing the cars, first thing, of course, if the car is coming back in one piece, kind of insurance policy, and second thing, it's to actually make calculation, amortization, to provide for a shares, some calculation, amortization, renting, insurance, everything. So actually, do they make money or do they, pay for sharing a car?
Okay, thank you. The question, first part was, is it safe to rent out your car? Is it comes back as it was? And the second part of the question was, is it reasonable to rent out your car to cover only maintenance costs, or it is profitable to rent your car? Yeah. Okay. The first part of the question, yeah, cars are coming back in one piece and really good conditions. For example, we have heard from our users or renters, car owners who have got the car that renters have even changed their screen wipers because, for example, ladies don't know so well that when to change this, and then some people are just changing this because it's not working anymore so well. And the car has been cleaner as it was before. And there is even renters who have leave like candies to car owners because the car was so great. And yeah, it's positive. And the second part of the question, is it reasonable to rent out your car or is it profitable? Then yeah, it's reasonable and profitable because if you take your, we have told to our car owners, there is one golden rule. If you sum up all your monthly costs on your car and you divide this, if you sum up all the costs, then you should earn back half of the costs with 7 days. Then it means if you rent out at least 14 days in a month, then you are in break even. And the rest of the half of the month, the rest of the 16 days, it's profit. Then it's reasonable and it can be profitable. It depends how much you are using your car by yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Yep.
So I was trying to rent a Porsche from the website, and yeah, from Autolevi, 100 euros only, and a scratch on the Porsche costs much more than that. So how does it work out?
Sorry, can you repeat?
It was a Porsche car. Porsche.
You mean this red one?
No, on Autolevi it was listed for being
Porsche
rented out, and then it happened so that it was only on 100 euro per day. And the guy was not accepting, first of all, any offers because it was clearly written that the person does not accept many and hardly accepts any. Second thing, that a scratch on the car costs more than 100 euro. So how do they rent it out for 100 euro? Third thing, if I by chance am able to rent it, then every time I'll have to go through the acceptance, or is there an auto acceptance feature that I have got 5 ratings from 10 people now? Now these people have listed their car in such a way that anybody who has 5 rating from 10 listings, he can be auto accepted.
Okay. The question was that if there is possible to rent a Porsche, which costs 100 euros per day, but there is but after rental it comes back with one scratch. Then the question is it reasonable to rent out if your car is coming back with scratch? Okay. As I said before, then there is like most of the cases, car is coming back in better conditions as it was, and as I mentioned before, there it's if you rent out your car at least 14 days, then you cover all your car costs already. Then it's there is a small risk that there is some small scratch, but these are like insurance is covering these kind of cases, and in the end, yeah, it's profitable still.
Thank you. We also have a question from online from John, and his question is, do you have any plans to make an application, a mobile app?
Thank you for the question. Yeah, we have planned to have mobile app, and why we haven't done this yet is that you need some reasonable community behind the company to do it. We have like built this company really lean to do these kind of things which are like really adding some value to customers, and yeah, this is how we are planning and trying to grow this company, and it has been working. And yeah, answer is yes, we are planning.
Great. So, okay, more. Great.
So a quick question. I've never used your this Autolevi, but let's say when I want to get a car with like a trailer, do you also have trailer cars on your site, or do I still have to go to Olerex to get the trailer?
Yes, we have trailers. Hope that you are taking trailer now from us. There is quite good selection, like different size, different height, with cover, without cover, and so on.
Okay, and then we have one more question from the back.
Let's get back to the insurance. Just out of curiosity, if there is some damage to the car, so the owner, you said there is insurance, but what is Oma Vastu? I can't remember your own response. Is there some own responsibility to what is paid?
Thank you for the question. And the question was, is there any own responsibility for car owner or renter if there is some insurance case? Yes, there is the own responsibility, as it is like regular casco. It's 300 euros per case.
My question is about some years in the future. Some people describe a future where most cars will have become pods, freely moving around. Do you see yourself as being part of this new future?
Did I get the question?
When there is no longer car ownership, but it's pods traveling around the city.
You mean like the cars are autonomous? Like
yes, and just AI bringing pods around. Do you see yourself part of this potential way?
Yeah, sure. Because, yeah, at the moment it's as I mentioned before, this is a profitable activity as well. It's in the first hand we started to offering this opportunity to car owners to just have a better car, reduce their owning costs, but it can be like profitable as well. And if cars are like starting to drive by themselves, then it's even more profitable because you don't spend your time also to hand it over and get it back. We see us also in this business, yeah.
We also have one more question here from the way back.
Hi, Tauri. I'm more than sure that you know that you are not doing this thing first time as a peer-to-peer car sharing app or platform. How you are differing from your competitors?
Thank you for the question. We are different from our competitors. First thing I would say that it's on different market, because there isn't on these markets like other players. We have also already like working platform. We are developing additional like machine learning algorithms, which like increasing the reason, like statistically increase the probability that you get the car, and I think in the end of the day, it's also behind the marketing as well, who is like building the better better community behind themselves, and also position in this scanner.
All right. We have one more question here, and then take one question from online, and then we can take during the networking session, but then we have to quickly to Funderbeam.
Is the money going directly from people, or you are also part of this transaction? And what about paying taxes? Are you somehow avoiding messing up with this, and clients can handle it by themselves? And also, is it cut off this transaction between fixed fee?
Thank you for the questions. The money is moving to us, like to Autolevi, to avoid this kind of situations where maybe one person is canceling, or yeah, for example, this kind of cases. Then we just hand back the money to a renter, and it's there to make the transaction secure. And sorry, I forgot the second question and third question. Taxes, yeah. How we are like arrange the taxes part is that we are cooperating also the tax office in Estonia. It's possible to for car owners to just grant us to report to tax office how much income they have earned, and then it's automatically in their tax declaration. It's also like possible to do it by themselves. It's depending on the car owner, and yeah, this is how it works.
Okay, and again, thank you for your questions online.
Yeah.
The final question for the session is, do you have any information on retention rate, specifically of the renters? Like what's the percentage of renters that continue renting out their automobile? How many times do they end up renting out their car? Or is there like some drop off that you've noticed?
Yeah, there is the case that most of the car owners like continue using the service. The main like reasons why they haven't why they have stopped is they have sold their car. They are using their car more because they don't have like a company car anymore, or these kind of things. Or they just don't have free time to rent this out on some time period. But yeah, I think we can like also answer this question longer in this discussion part. And if in the audience there is more questions, then I'm here. We can like discuss later on the networking part, and Guido, our lead investor, is also here. Then you have two persons who to ask all the questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So again, as Tauri just mentioned, for you online, if you need further information, just go to Autolevi's campaign page on funderbeam.com, ask in the discussion section. And I'm sorry for the two of you who had questions, but in about 20 minutes when we go to the networking session, feel free to just approach and ask. So now we'll do a 5-minute presentation and 10-minute Q&A with Funderbeam. I have one of the founders here, Ormas, and then also the CFO, Thomas. So please, round of applause. Thank you. Yeah. Do you want both?
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Urmas. I'm one of the founders. And like Björn said, next to me is Tom, our CFO, and we're hoping to cover the short session as effectively as possible. So what is Funderbeam? We are a global training and funding platform for early stage and growth companies. How did we start? So we saw the problem in the world where there were majority of the companies, small, medium-sized enterprises, including startups. They were eager to get capital, but access to capital is still very complicated. On the other hand, there were investors across the globe chatted around and trying to make investments, but access to the information is very, very, I would say, challenging. And thirdly, if you're making an investment as an investor, you will be locked up. You can be locked up on average 8 to 10 years in case your investment is successful. So this is the problem that we were trying to solve. And this campaign now, which is our actually third on our platform, is really to help us to scale globally. We've been validating our business model, I would say, rather successfully in 2 countries already, Estonia and Croatia. And this is to expand, and Tom will very briefly explain you where the funding will actually go and how do we use it.
Thanks, Ormas. So in terms of the funding that we're raising on this occasion, as Ormas mentioned, we've validated and developed our business in Estonia and Croatia already, where we have a partnership in Croatia with the Zagreb Stock Exchange. We are now expanding into other markets in Europe, specifically Scandinavia, which is clearly nearby here and has some crossover that we will cover. The UK, which is the largest funding market, early stage funding market in Europe, and then also Spain and Iberia. There's an active early stage market in Portugal, and Spain offers incentives to early stage investors in the same way that the UK. So those are particularly active markets close to home. In addition to that, we're now launching a business in Singapore, and that's connected with our trading business. So we're applying for our regulatory licenses in Singapore, and we're hoping to be launching our first campaigns there next year. And then finally, we also have a project underway in Brazil. So we had some new investor come into the business at the end of last year based down in Brazil, and they've recently, I think in the last year, passed a crowdfunding law to make early stage investing easier in Brazil. So we see that as an opportunistic high growth market for us as we continue to build the business on a global basis. So that's what this funding is for. And I think I'm going to hand back now to Ormas. Double act continues, and he's going to talk a little bit about the team that's doing the work.
So yeah, before the team, so what's our solution? So we created a platform where we actually enabling investors, and we call them like-minded investors, so that they could invest as easily as possible to early stage companies. We have standardized information, so you can actually, before making the investment decision, you can compare companies, you can analyze the companies, you can make your own due diligence. So this is why we have the data as well. And most importantly, which is really the innovative part of Funderbeam when it comes to early stage investments, is the secondary market. So our secondary market is open 24/7, and we've been taking away the burdens, the obstacles that you normally would face in case of investing in or acquiring, let's say, a stake in a private company. So our team, myself, I have a regulatory background. By education, I'm a lawyer, although I barely worked as a lawyer. Our CEO, Kaidi, She's been actually the CEO of Nasdaq here in Tallinn. We have Tom with the very extensive background from the financial sector. Our head of legal actually is also ex-regulator. We have another person in the team, a lawyer who is an ex-regulator. We have a very, very strong team covering actually also outside of financial markets. And again, to make their inputs in what we are trying to achieve. So if there's one strength what's really important in every company, it's team. And I think particularly in Funderbeam model, where we are tackling with very heavy regulated industry and environment, and because of our ambition to become global. So the regulatory knowledge and understanding of regulations, how to navigate, how to find the solutions, this is really the core strength of Funderbeam. So that's really short about team and the problem and solution. So happy to answer any questions in case you have.
So yeah, okay, already in the back, come.
Okay, I'm trying to understand. You have on the map something like Vancouver and Mexico City or something like that. Does that mean you have something there, or do you have investors there? And how are you? Second question is, how is your company making money after this? Okay.
Thank you. So the question was, what does that map really indicate? So these are the investors that are actually signed up on Funderbeam and are active. So we have now invested from 114 countries, which for us is a really, I would say, strong signal that we are on our journey, on the right way, on the right path. That there is a need for a solution like ours. And second part was how we make money. So here, the model at the moment is very, very simple. So we take a cut, 4% from the funds raised. So that's it. But as of actually, a couple of weeks ago, we launched our new service, which is called straight to trading or straight to secondary markets, where we actually start also charging from companies or from investors when they actually sell the shares directly. So you don't need to anymore first fundraise, which we've been providing so far, but also you can bring your company and just make it tradable and listed on our platform. Thank you.
Thank you. From this 8.7 million, I'm guessing the most of or all of it is from the small private investors. Do you have any insight or plan that some bigger institutional investors are going to be joining? Or another question, I heard you mentioning the partnership with Croatian Stock Exchange. What it exactly means? What's the partnership about?
Okay, I can take at least part of it. So yes, we did start our model, and let me remind you as well. So 2.5 years ago, when we launched the marketplace, our first companies were Estonian companies, and they were raising between 140, 170,000 euros. So in that kind of size of fundraising, you're absolutely right. Those are mostly retail investors. So we finished last year with first two campaigns being at least 1 million. And in the largest campaign, which was 1.2 million, the ticket, 1 million ticket was actually coming from institutional investor. So now gradually we've been seeing, as we've been also being able to attract companies who are looking for, I would say, slightly larger funding rounds. So the more we are increasing the kind of interest in companies, the more also we see the institutional investors actually coming in. So it's actually a trend that is going upward for sure. And I'm quite convinced that already H1 2019 we will probably see a couple of deals as well, where again the lead investors most likely will be already institutional investors. So this is also something that we see is very much valid and needed for institutional investors. What we've created actually for retail investors, because the problem is almost identical. Now, second part of the question was about collaboration with Zagreb Stock Exchange. So 2 years ago, when we launched 2.5 years ago, we launched Zagreb Stock Exchange was one of the first stock exchanges who actually contacted us and asked about our business model. And very quickly, we actually created a company in Croatia. And also today, we've had already 5 successful fundraisings from Croatia. So what it really means is that we had actually very easy access to Croatian market, where stock exchange had a very good presence and name, and creating this joint venture meant that they were helping us to find good companies. They were actually also, I would say, doing the due diligence themselves in a way. And when it comes to reputation and marketing, then definitely their help was very, very important for us. So at the moment, we have, I would say, next to the stock exchange in Croatia, probably we are the most known there as a brand where companies could come and ask for financing. Of course, if they are already later stage companies, they would go to the stock exchange. But stock exchange really saw the value that we can actually together cover the entire lifespan of the company. So we're starting with the early stage, and as they grow, at some point they can already be on the IPO stage, and maybe then list on the Zagreb Stock Exchange.
Any other questions in here? Any? Okay. We actually have some extra time, so we can actually, if you still have questions for Tauri, we can answer those. You guys can also, if you have anything on the top of your mind, anything that's coming up, please let the people know, and then we can answer some quick questions for Autolevi as well. Okay.
If there are time.
Yeah. So Tauri, okay, come back. So now.
Hi again.
The question to understand more the business, who are the average car owners and the person who rent a car?
Thank you for the question. Question was, who is the average car owner and renter? The average car owner is usually a man, 25 up to 35, who has more than one car in household, or who is living close to the working place, or from office, like 15 or 20 minutes walking distance. And the renters is quite the same, a man, 25 up to 45. But there is also women's, but then as you asked who is the main, then these are the main profiles.
Hey, my name is Tobias. I think as a user, your app or platform has a lot of potential, but as a car owner, I'm still worried because I know the mentality of also my colleague when we go to a country and we rent a car is that it's just a rental car, just give it gas, just treat it like you want to. You don't think of it as your own car. Normally, a lot of people treat it like that. And personally, I would be afraid to rent out my own car. So this is the barrier, the greatest barrier I see for your success.
Yeah, I have heard also that if you are taking car like some big car renting company, then you think like that. But if you take a car from other person and you see the person, you go to their home quite often. For example, I keep my car in front of my apartment and coming out saying, yeah, this is my car. We look how it works. I say how to drive and where to, I don't know, show my CDs, where to get these and so on. Then he don't drive like that. And I had also one friend who had Mercedes something 3.0 diesel, really fast car. And we was driving together, and he was also saying that he don't rent out his car. But when I was once tried with him, and I was asking like, "Whoa, you think somebody can like drive more crazy than you with this car?" I don't think so. Then it's people are like afraid of this, but actually, if you take another person's car, it's different than you take some random car renting company. And another example, if you have like car like that, then you try yourself also, like taking the car as it is.
Thank you. Extending actually the same question, as I see it also one of the most risky part of the business model is still things like that might happen, and I guess you have been renting out 8,000 times. There has been cases also where owners are not satisfied with the condition of the car which returned. Is the Autolevi as a business model take some role or responsibility or something when the transaction parties are not satisfied, or is it purely for their own dispute then, if there is some problem?
Yeah, there is. As I said, most of the cases, everything is like wonderful, and renters are wonderful. You can choose the renters. You don't have to give a car to random person. You see like full profile of them and even picture, and you can make the decision to not give the car to this person's spot. If there is something, then we have worked out special car insurance with Austria insurance company, Compensa, which covers all these other cases when it's not so well or there is some scratches. And yeah, this is a risky part, but as we have done already more than 8,000 transactions, and there is cases like less than 1 or 0.5% of the transactions, some problems, and most of the cases are covering insurance, and most of the cases are solving by negotiation between renter and car owner, where our role is to help them to lead some reasonable solution. Then it's I would say it works really well, and this risk isn't not manageable and too high and too big to get worried about this and to just not rent out your car.
Okay, I have a question. You very briefly touched upon competition before, but what's your growth and scaling strategy, particularly outside of Estonia?
What is our growth?
And a scaling strategy. So how do you go to the other markets outside of your home turf?
We are going outside to other markets. Usually we need a customer support there and arrange background checks to the users to also take to lower these risks that something happens, because everybody can't like rent our platform car. There is around 10% or 50% who doesn't get the car because their profile doesn't fit with our like risk managing strategy. And when we're going to new market, we need this check people, customer support, and also we are starting to acquire some bigger or smaller car rental companies, or like one-man companies who have 3 cars, for example, to get the critical mass of the cars, because it's quite easy to bring renters, but it's harder to offer the cars, because it's if there isn't anybody who is renting their car, then it's why I have to be the first one. Because in Estonia it was same in the beginning, but when there came like 10 cars, 30 cars, a few hundred cars, now it's easier because now you already know somebody who is renting out their car, and you can ask like how it works. But yeah, this is kind of the strategy.
We have 2 questions online, but I think essentially they were just covered in the last 2 questions. So Seem, John, if you have any further details you want covered, just let David know in the comments section below. But we have another question here from the back. So we'll take this, and we're almost out of time. So this is probably going to be the last.
Actually, 2. The first one is how many cars I need, so I don't have to go to work anymore. Yeah, I can just renting the cars. And okay, that's the first question. A second one this was a driving spots and automotive cars was a question already. But between has been talking about renting cars. So you take it and you leave it. You take it, from the street, from mobile app, and then you leave it where you left, and then you just took care, pay your bills. Have you thought about this kind of approach as well? So you walk on the street, I want a car, you take a car where it's for renting, and then you leave it where you left. And then because you're coming out from the pub, you leave it there. You don't care anymore. What's clear?
Your
the
question.
car are permanently rented, and they are lying up somewhere.
I got the question that is it possible to take car on one point and leave other?
Yeah.
Okay. At the moment, it's not possible, but we are moving on that direction. That it's possible to drop off in different spot. At the moment, you take car and leave car at the same spot, but you can also already actually negotiate with car owner. There is cases where both of the sides are agree that okay, I took the car in maybe Kalamaja and I want to drop off in bus station. And if it's fine for both, then it's working already like that. But in the long run, we want to enable the possibility to car owners to add their car equipment, which enable or put them online, and if they don't need car whole of the week, for example, from Monday to Friday, then the car can drive around the city, drive around different cities, and come back to that spot where they need car in the end of the week.
Thank you.
How many cars?
How many cars do you need to own so that you don't have to work, make enough money?
Okay.
What's enough? 10?
Well, you can. It depends. What is your standards? I would say, but yeah, average is that you can earn with one car 1,000 to 3,000 per year. If you are not really active, but active enough, renting out this 14 days per month. But if you are doing this more, then you can earn more. If your car is more valuable, you can get more out of it. And yeah, it depends from different figures. But there is already car owners who we see that they have started in 2015 with one car, earned a few hundred. Next year they earn a few thousand. Year after that, 10,000. Year after that, 20,000 already. They are growing their business, adding more cars, having more cars, and so on.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Take that. So that's it for. I'll switch mics. That's it for tonight. Thank you for your participation here online as well. If we didn't answer your questions to your liking, again, I'll mention you just go to funderbeam.com, go to the campaign page, ask in the discussion section. Somebody will get back to you as soon as possible. Again, thanks. The rest of the drinks, snacks, and for you, ciao, adios. If you didn't watch the full video, rewind, get back to it. And for you, you don't need to. You were here the whole time, so forget about it. We're done here. Thank you very much, and goodbye.